years now, and you probably know me from the training videos I've sent you of your dogs in training, or meeting me when you go to pick up your puppies after they've been staying with my program. So I thought I'm going to start doing some videos of in-home trainings with my dogs. So I currently have a 10-week-old Vizsla and a 15-week-old Belgian Malinois. I have been thinking about making these videos to give a more in-depth description of exactly what your puppies have gone through in the training program, along with what you can do when you bring your puppy home and acclimate them to their new home environment. So basically these videos are going to be like the behind the scenes of what I've done to train your puppies, along with what you can do to advance them even further. I always say that if you start off training your puppies at a young age, you'll end up having a great adult dog citizen, because eventually puppies do turn into dogs. And so you want to make sure that now, with all the bad habits, you stop them while they're puppies, because puppies are extremely eager to learn. So today you're going to see my dog Mira working with me. Mira is a 10-week-old Vizsla. I'm going to be going over the 4 cardinal commands. Come, which is very important, because we always want to make sure that our dog comes in an extremely stressful situation. So such as we need her to recall in case she accidentally bolts out the front door and is about to run into the street. I'm going to say, Mira, come. Obviously, we want her to know that she has to turn around and come towards me. Sit. So every day I use sit. I make my dogs sit before they eat. I make my dogs sit politely before I give them pets and love. I make them sit before they come out of the kennel. The sit is a very good command to have your dogs know. Down. So obviously with the down command, you might not use it as much, but you might tell your dog to go lay down, go to their kennel to go lay down. When you're out in public and you're talking to your friend who's approached you, you might want to tell your dog to lay down and have them in a nice, comfortable laying down position while you talk to somebody out in public, while you're around on a walk around the park. And then lastly, the stay command is very important, because you want to make sure that dog has a great stay. So if you're taking your trash out to the garbage can and you want to leave your door open, or you're bringing your groceries in, you might as well teach your dog a solid stay command, so that way you can leave the door open and you can walk out and grab something and come back inside and your dog hasn't moved. Because then if they do not have a great stay command, they could end up bolting into the street and end up getting hit by a car. So those 4 commands are extremely important. Those commands can either save your dog's life or be used every day in your everyday routine. And so I'm going to go over that today with Mira. Some cardinal rules to think about is when I'm going to be rewarding Mira, I'm going to be using the yes command. You can use either the yes command, the good girl, or a clicker. A clicker is a very consistent sound. It is like a device. It just constantly clicks at the same sound, and you have to click. But with the clicker, you have to be very quickly rewarding. I used yes because I like to just use verbal commands, and she knows to listen to me. But with my yeses, I have to always be very consistent about my tone about my yes. So it's always yes, good girl. Yes, yes, yes. Very happy, good command. Versus with my commands, they're very neutral. So sit, down, stay, come. Those are very neutral. Versus yes, it's very yay, yes, good girl. It's a congratulations, basically a very high tone. So you want to make sure that with your rewards, it's always very good, consistent, happy praise. And the same thing with no's. So you want to make sure that it's always a very firm no. So that way the dog knows that they did something wrong. So when I say no, my dogs immediately, just right now, they even heard no, and they're like, what did we do? They thought we did something wrong. So that way my dogs always know that my no is a very firm, I mean it. Because if your dog is getting into the trash can, or they're playing with a toy you don't want them to play with, they grab the sock, and you never want your dog to swallow sock, because then you're going to end up having to pay for surgery to get that thing out. So you're going to quickly say no, and then they'll drop it. So that's why I always say that we want to make sure we have a good yes, a good no, and then our 4 cardinal commands are very solid, because these commands and the yes and no are used consistently throughout the rest of their life. So I always say with puppies, if you start them young, they're going to end up being very well behaved at an older age. It follows them for the rest of life. So that's especially why I do the puppy board and train program that I do, because I always say that if we want to have a great, good citizen, we need to make sure that they're a great puppy. So I'm going to teach you today with Mira, and this is going to be the start of many videos, hopefully. Okay? Sit. Yes. Good girl. So you see how my command is very my tone is a good, consistent yes. Good girl. Okay. Sit. Yes. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Okay. So in order to ask for your puppy to sit, you're going to have her in stand. You're going to point backwards and kind of lower her into a sit, just like that. Yes. Good girl. So Mira is very eager to work today. Yes. Good girl. Okay. Okay. Sit. Yes. Good girl. So the okay command is basically me releasing her from her command, telling her that she has permission to stand up. So if she wants to continue sitting, she can do that. Okay, sit. Very good, good girl. Okay, sit. Very good, yes, good girl. So I said yes, in order to make sure that she knows that she did good. Yes, good girl. So I'm going to ask her to sit, and I'm going to show you what you would do if you need your puppy, if you had a brand new puppy that doesn't know the command sit. So she's going to be in a standing position. I'm going to lower her up and over into a sitting position. Yes, good girl. Very good. So lower her into the butt, just touching the ground. Yes, good girl. And then sit. Yes, good girl. So this is after only 3 days of working with Mira. She's very eager to work. She loves food. Yes, good girl. Okay. Now I'm going to release her. Okay. Sit. Very good. Yes, good girl. So the same thing is going to be applied to the down. I'm going to have Mira approach me. Okay. You're going to always start from a sitting position. Eventually, when they're older, it'll be easy to ask them to down from a standing position. But for now, as puppies, it might just be best to teach them to down. She's very bad at her down, so you're going to watch her down today and try to learn it. Okay, down. Sit. You're going to cover the treat and kind of lower them into it so they can taste it. Down. 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 Good girl. Ready? Down. Yes, very good. Make sure all of it's down. Whole body. Yes, good girl. Doesn't count as rolling over. So get her back into the sitting position. We're going to do it all over again. Down. Very good. And then kind of pet her. Leave her in the position. See if you can pet her. Get her to relax in that position. So that way she knows that this down position is very good and comfortable. Okay, good girl. We're going to work on the come command now and also her downs again and say. So with Mira, so the best way to teach a dog to learn their name is to just consistently say their name. So with every command that you give. Mira, here. Good girl. Very good. Yes, good job. You see how she's sitting nice and politely? I like that. Very good. Yes, good girl. Okay. Mira, here. Very good. Girl. Very good. Mira, here. What? No. Very good. Yes. All the way. Finish it. Good girl. I'm going to make her do it again. Mira, here. Good girl. And sometimes you picking up the pace just might be what the puppies need to realize that, hey, I got to go with them. Because otherwise they're like, don't know if I want to go with you. Mira, here. Come on, baby girl. Come on, Mira. Good girl. Yes, good girl. Mira, here. And this is why it's always good to practice inside before you move outside, because you know inside where there's very little distractions, you have their attention. So that way they know it's easier to learn their commands in a very distraction-free environment. Down. Very good. So Mira's very motivated by hot dogs. She loves meat. So you have to find what your dog loves to work for. If it's cheese, some of my dogs do love to work for cheese, and some of them love to work for hot dogs. Some of them actually just love to work for attention. They just love pets and good praise at the end of their command. And some of them love toys. So you have to find what every dog loves. Toys, attention, treats. It's up to the dog to tell you what they like to work for. Okay, come here. So Mira is still very bad at her downs. That last one was pretty good. So we're gonna show you again what to do with the down. So you're gonna have them start from a sitting position, and you're gonna lower them into a down, down. Very good. And kind of pet her right there, because you want her to get used to being in the down position. Good girl. Yeah. Down. Very good. Good girl, you see? And you're kind of letting her let, because this down position is pretty hard for puppies. It's hard to stay still at a young age. And some dogs also don't like really going to the down because it's almost like challenging them into going into that position. Dogs found in that the down position is a very submissive position. As puppies, they're not really thinking about that. They're more thinking about the fact that they have to sit still for so long or go into down for so long. It's very hard to stay still at a young age. Versus with dogs, older ones, they might find it a little more controlling. Yes, good girl. So you see how at the beginning, between the beginning where she was very bad at it, and now it's just constantly telling her, yes, good girl. Very consistent praise. Down. And just hold it. Yes. And kind of try actually holding the treat away from her longer. So that way she has to hold it longer before she gets her. Yes, good girl, her treat. Good girl. Yes. Nope, no bellies. No belly rubs. She thinks that if she gets a belly rub, it's the same thing as going to the down position. Nope. Very good. So you see right there how she was trying to jump up and get my attention. I told her no, took my hand away, and then when she sat politely, I gave her the treat. Very good. Because we don't want we don't want to ever reward bad behaviors. We only want to reward good behaviors. Yes, good girl, Mira. Good. Okay, so I'm going to teach you the stay command. So it's very simple. Almost simple. You're going to tell with your signal for your hand is a very clear stop sign. Stay in their face, then you're going to back up slowly. For the stay command, you just want to back up like a step away. Good, yes. And then reward them quickly, because like I said with puppies, it's very hard to stay for a long period of time. So you're going to have her stay, and back up another couple steps. Yes, good girl. Stay, back up even further. Try holding it even longer. Yes, good girl. And make sure that before you even give the yes command and reward her, you approach them again, because you don't want to say yes and then have them break it. You want to approach them and then give it to them while they're still in that sitting calm position. Sitting calm position. Stay. So I'm going to walk away again. Make her hold it for a few seconds. No. So she broke it. I'm just going to tell her no. I'm going to ask her to come back where she was sitting. Oops. Sit. Stay. I'm going to remind her to stay. And then go in. Yes, good girl. Very good. So you don't want, if they break the command, it's okay. Just put them right back in that position that they were sitting in, and then tell them to stay again. Make sure that you put them in the right exact spot that you had them in before when they broke the command. Because you want them to know, like, hey, you were supposed to stay there, versus them getting up and they can do whatever they want. So they're not allowed to get up until you say, okay, there you go, good girl. And because I said, okay, she knows that she can break the command. But if you want to sit there a little bit longer, it's okay. But you said the word okay, giving them permission to leave. Good girl. Very good. So I'm going to go ahead and do it again. Stay. Yes, good girl. So now, eventually when they get the hang of actually what stay is, try throwing in some distractions like making sounds. Stay. Nope. No. No. Sit. Stay. No. Stay. 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 So sometimes you're going to have to remind them quickly. Stay. Yes, good girl. So she really wants to get up and go away. You're going to have to remind her, no, this is the command that you were doing. You're doing a stay, but throw in that distraction like a loud noise. Stay. Yes, good girl. make distractions here in the house, it'll be easier to transition to working outside or in the public, because there's going to be lots of distractions outside. So if you're outside hanging out in the backyard, let's say you see a squirrel, the squirrel goes running, you don't want your dog to catch the squirrel, you're going to need to say, Mira, here. She's going to need to come running and leave that squirrel. So you want to make sure that inside there's going to be lots of distractions, so she knows when eventually you go outside, the same rules still apply to the same behaviors that you're doing inside. So no matter what, the dog must always listen. Yes, good girl. And that's why it's so much easier to start teaching them at a young age. Because then for the rest of their life, they know what they're supposed to be doing. Good girl. Good girl. And so lastly, I'm going to teach you with Mira to come. So we're going to go over that one more time. So I'm going to have her come. Mira, come. Very good. Mira, come. Good girl. So if you have multiple people in your family, it might be great to start doing a triangular recall. So you're going to have, or a double recall. So you'll have one person standing at the other end of the room while another person stands at this end of the room. Someone's going to say, Mira, come, and she'll go running that way. Another person will be, Mira, come, and she'll come running this way. That way she learns I have to come to both people. And eventually you can do it 3 ways where it's a triangle, and have her go to each person. Make it random. Have one person call her, then the next person, then the next person, but then that person again. So that way she's not knowing that it's the same pattern over and over. You need to always make it very inconsistent. Because if she has a great solid recall at home, eventually she'll have a great solid recall out in public, because you want them to know even at the dog park or the dog beach that they have to come no matter what. Good girl. I always say a solid recall saves your dog's life. So that's our first video. So some food for thought after ending this video. Mira has only been with me for 3 days. I picked her up Saturday. It was Saturday or Friday this last week, and so she's only been with me for a few days. I didn't really focus on training for the first couple of days. I was letting her get acclimated into her home and her new routine and her environment, and I didn't have her follow the routine of like not jumping on me. I made that very clear that she wasn't allowed to do that, along with some other clear rules that I established in my house, like, you know, obviously crate training and everything, and the potty training routine. Besides that, we haven't really focused on obedience till just the last couple of days. So that's Mira after a couple of days of training. So her sit was very excellent. Her downs were much better today, and so her stays and come were very good. Sometimes when my puppy Mira was not paying attention or wasn't coming very fast, she was standing there and staring at me, I would squat or I'd run backwards. Try to just get her attention. Sometimes with puppies, it's just because with squatting, it might be because you want to lure them in and be more inviting, because you are a very tall person and you do look a little intimidating when you're standing up. So that's why I squatted down and kind of got a little happier, maybe change my voice to a little bit higher pitch and try to lure her in to come to me. Same thing with running backwards, especially if you're outside and she sees something very distracting. I might run backwards and make myself more interesting and make it a game of chase in order to get her away from the thing that's very interesting and makes her want to run after that. So if she saw a squirrel and she wanted to bolt out that way, I'd make myself more interesting and run out the other direction, so that way she's like, oh, hey, I want to follow you rather than the squirrel. And so some very important things about while training. So be very consistent. Make sure you establish your rules. So if you don't want them jumping on you from a very young age, then go ahead and make sure that you don't do it. Same thing with your guests. Anybody that comes home, if she starts jumping on guests, then she's going to think that it's okay with everybody. And it's not okay. Especially if you have somebody older in your family that's going to come along a little, a little more frail. Eventually that tiny puppy turns into a bigger dog, maybe. And what might not be very intimidating at a younger age is now going to be a big dog that jumps up on somebody and possibly pushes them over, or just looks frightening. So not everybody is a dog person. Weird, but yeah. And the same thing about, so that's establishing the rules. Be very patient with your puppy. And same thing with your adult. They don't know everything. So that's why we always say patience, patience, patience. So you need to make sure that you have that patience. If they're annoying you, it might just be time to just walk away, take a deep breath, put the puppy in the crate or outside for a potty break, and then go back to it. I know sometimes with training, it's a little hard, so you're gonna have to just take a break and know that they are living, breathing animals. They are not robots. Many people have thought that before, just because they go through training that they're gonna be 100% perfect. That is not true. If you don't follow your own routine, if you don't establish a very good routine from the beginning, or you don't listen to any of the training that I've established so far, then it's gonna be gone. And so you've spoiled your puppy. Don't spoil your puppy. Note that they are animals. They're going to try to get away with things. They're going to dig in trash cans. If you put chicken in the trash can, do you think your dog isn't going to smell it and want to go into there? Nope. So that's why I always say, make sure that you are more prepared than your puppy. So let's say that you put your chicken in your trash can. I went out and bought a self-locking trash can, so my dogs can't go in there and lift up the top, because I need my trash can. And if I can't fit it under the sink, I'm going to lock it, and then my dogs can't get into it. So little things to prevent dogs from getting into trouble. You want to help your puppy rather than harm them. And that's why I always say, set them up for success rather than setting them up for failure. So same thing if you don't want your dogs chewing on socks or anything that you don't want them eating. So let's say you leave a hat laying around. I accidentally recently left a hat laying around, and my puppy accidentally chewed on the brim. I couldn't get mad at her because I left it out and within reaching distance, and it was my fault. And now I just have a cool little bitten off part of my hat. So set your puppy up for success, not failure. Be patient and establish a routine and establish rules. So routine, potty breaks when it's happening, once every hour, twice every every 2 hours, once every 2 hours. You need to make sure that routine is very solid and very established, because that's the best way to succeed in potty training, is to establish that routine. Same thing with crate training. Make sure that they go to sleep at the same time at night. Make sure that you either have them in the bedroom or not in your bedroom. You're going to make sure that wherever they're sleeping, it's going to be their spot. And their crate is their sanctuary, okay? It's not a punishment. It is their den. My dogs love their crates. Your dog should love your crates too. So establish a routine, establish rules, be patient, and don't set your puppy up for success and not failure. I will continue making these videos, and I hope to see you guys soon.